Hey everybody, it's Leon. Welcome back to The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. In the last episode, we ran out of the sanctuary, got another heart container in Kakariko Village, and also ran into Sahasrara, the village elder, who told us that we need to go find the Pendant of Courage in the East Palace, where we are right now. Before anything, I am actually letting you know, I am actually recording this commentary post. For some reason, when I actually recorded this video live, somehow the Audacity program just failed completely. But when I hit stop, the entire thing just closed, and I hadn't saved it because I was just recording. So, yeah, this is in post, so I'll be talking about everything. So if you go in, if you go in and you go on the two doors on the side, you'll notice that you won't be able to get anywhere. So what you actually have to do is throw the pot away, hit that switch, and enter through it. Then you have these three enemies here. You don't really need to fight them, but you can if you want to. I actually do in this video. But just hit that switch that I pressed, it'll open the door, and it'll just keep going. And then you get to this room. Now this room, there are some balls rolling at you, as you can kind of see. Just try to avoid them as you can. At some point, and right about now, there's that big ball that comes through. It happens every so often, but you can actually get through there pretty easily if you know what you're doing. And what you want to do is go up these stairs and head to the right, and then you'll be able to see 4 pots and a chest. You get through all of them, and in the chest is another 100 rupees. And you're actually going to need a lot of rupees later on in this game. You're going to have to get in a certain episode, in a later episode, we'll be getting something called the Zorfin. Kind of touched on briefly during the second episode, but it'll allow us to swim, and it costs a lot of money, so getting money now is good. Anyway, just get rid of these pots. Open the switch here, and head to the right. Now I get to see these stealthos, which I like, which I think are pretty cool. Like jumping skeletons. Whoa! That's pretty cool. And then this is basically, you don't really have to kill any of these enemies. I like doing it anyway because, like there, you can get more rupees or cards or magic and all of that. So, unfortunately, because I was in post, this is not going to be very interesting of commentary. I know typically it is, but unfortunately, that's what happens when technology just tends to be a bitch. So, I'll do a quick poll. What did you do on your 4th of July, and what is your favorite Zelda game? Leave an answer in the comments below. Anyway, this thing right here is a anti-fairy. If you use magic powder on it, it'll actually turn into a fairy. Unfortunately, I don't have any fairies, or any magic powder, because I'm out of magic, which sucks. So you can just leave, and there'll be more around there, and I'll actually catch them. Then we get the map. And I know I'm not really singing, but whatever. Post, whatever, screw it. And so, yeah. So now that we've done all that, we can now go to the other side of the room. As you can see skeletons, and you can see the outline of the big chest. Unfortunately, we're going to need the big key for that, and we'll actually be getting it later on. I think it's in the next, like, 6 or 7 minutes or so. Maybe less that we actually do get it. There's just more stealthers in here. Yeah, this is unfortunately not going to be very interesting commentary. Although I do have some interesting stories to tell. So I was on YouTube while this movie was rendering, and I found on YouTube the video called Zelda the Musical, and it was actually quite funny. And it was also like an amazing musical video, and there are 2 versions of it. One that just has the original ending, and then they made one that's Majora's Mask ending, which I think is really cool. So if you want to see both of those videos, the links are in the description below. I'd highly recommend seeing them because they're really, really fun. And they're done magnificently well. And now I think there needs to be an actual show of it. So anyway, we just got the compass. I know I'm totally anti-reading anything right now, but this is what happens when things go wrong. And because I don't like really doing my recordings in post. I think live is funnier. Then we have this right here. Link, it is I, Sahasrara. I can talk to you telepathically when you touch these tiles. Here's a hint. You can use a treasure hidden in this palace to defeat armored foes. That is a reference to the dungeon item in this game, obviously, or in this dungeon, and we're gonna get that a little bit later. And eventually I'll hit the skeleton. Yay! Actually, while I'm talking about this, there is one thing. Around this area in a couple of dungeons, they'll have these pots, and if you fall into them, you'll actually find fairies, and you can actually use your net to catch them. Funny, they're called F-A-E-R-I-E, which is a weird way of spelling fairy. Although to me, I feel like it could be like Fairor, like how you spell that. That's not really how you spell Fairor, or Fairor, so I don't know. It's bizarre. And I do that again just because I want to get another fairy in my second model. Because I try to avoid dying in this episode at least once. Unfortunately, that doesn't actually work, as you'll see in the later part of the episode. But one thing I did find out about doing post-commentary is that Let's Playing makes things a lot harder when you're doing it live, when you're doing the commentary. And the reason why I found that out was, in all my other Let's Play recordings, I have to try to sync the audio and the video together. And that's really frustrating, especially when you have to, like, figure out where to cue certain, dialogue, things, so you have to sync it all up. And that takes forever, and with this, it's been a hell of a lot easier because I've done basically all my editing. All the cuts, all the transitions, everything has been completely done. And then I all have to just do it at the recording track and I'm done, which I think is really nice, except it's not as enjoyable and not as entertaining because it's not, like, for real. And it's not live. Because I'm more the, Bill O'Reilly, screw it, we'll do it live! Kind of thing, because I feel like you do get more spontaneity, and I think that's key for a really good Let's Play. But, you know, that's what happens. So anyway, I'm gonna do all that, and head into this room. This room is a place where lots of people have died in class, or in past Let's Plays. When I did my practice file, I ended up dying in this room. When Josh Jepson did his LP, I think he died in the same room as well. It's very difficult just because there's so many enemies, because there's these these couple of Salthos, there's that one, I want to say Armos, but I'm not entirely sure if that's what you call them. There's that weird Malphite tentacle thing, and then there are these anti-fairies that you can bring around and do all this stuff, and they spin. And then you can get all this stuff, and I think I tried to do some magic powder, but I think I ran out. Oh, yep, I ran out in this one. So I think I just screw it and then I go take the pot. There's a switch right in the middle where they were residing, which is right here. You open the chest and you get the big key! The master key. You can now open the large chest and the large doors as well. So that's what we're gonna do. But trying to go around and avoid getting hit. Oh, I think I get hit anyway. Yeah, I do. Lame. And I move the block and head around and make a little turn. I think I just do this just because I want, like, all these enemies just get killed, but I don't succeed at all. Yeah. And then we get the bow! So now we can use the arrows that we have. So we equip that, and then all these heads start flying everywhere, and all over the place. So, there's that. Yeah, then also some very interesting gaming news as well. So on the 4th of July, Square Enix officially announced a new PC version of Final Fantasy VII, for those who have not already heard. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be an HD remake, and Square Enix, believe it or not, actually said that there was not going to be a remake of Final Fantasy VII unless they made a Final Fantasy game that beats that, which is probably never going to happen, so there's that. But they did announce a port for the PC. Graphics are still the same. They did add some awesome new things like a cloud save, where you can now access your gameplay anywhere in the world. It's a difficulty modifier where you get like infinite or max amount of heart, power, gil, all of that. And a lot of people are hating because it's basically a port and other people can do it on emulators, but you know what? It's Final Fantasy, and I don't really care for doing emulator stuff because, as I've learned, emulators are just kind of a pain. Especially, I've learned after dealing with ZSNES. Although I'll probably end up getting one for PS1 once I get a PS1. So yeah, the arrows in this dungeon make a lot of those armor things that I battled before, like that one right there, a lot easier because then it's basically one accurately placed hit with the arrow and you're good. So yeah, and then there's two of these anti-fairies. Unfortunately, and then there's that. I think I only kill one of them, which is unfortunate. Yeah, because I run out of magic. And then I just leave, and there's the next room. This next room's got 3 Armo statue things. And you're going to want to use your arrow, but unfortunately they only do like 2 at a time. And somehow I got another 3rd in, and then more issues happened. And then, oh yeah, surprise, I died. This happens a lot. Unfortunately, I wanted to try to get 1, and this is like the start of the death count right now. It ends up getting a lot higher. I tried to make it only so I only have it happen once, but unfortunately that kind of failed. Like a lot. You'll see why in this video. Ugh. So now this room is actually 2 rooms under the boss room of this dungeon. The boss is actually quite easy. I mean, it's still kind of difficult if you don't know what you're doing, or if you're like me who just sucks at everything. But, it's basically using a lot of the bow and a little bit of the sword. So these red ones, I actually can't take out with, you actually cannot take these out with anything else except the arrows, which kind of sucks, because they're really, really annoying, but, I mean, you can handle it. And now for me, just for my good luck, I actually use a fairy, just so I can avoid dying on the boss. But now this leaves me with no fairies, and I actually end up recording this a little bit later in the LP, or actually in this episode, more out. And now we have these. They call these apparently Armos in the game. I don't know why they would, because there's 6 of them. But basically, all you need to do is just spam arrow, actually hit them a few times. I think you only need to hit them like 3 times. I think. So I got 3 or 4. I'm not very sure. Oh, only 3 apparently. And if you run out of arrows, you can start using your sword. It's just a little bit harder to do, although I'm actually not doing any better using the sword. And then at this point, I just start using the 1, which can actually take a little bit of a while, because these guys take so long. But when you're done, you get the heart container! And then you get the Pendant of Courage, which is fabulous. And this will not only refill your hearts, it'll also actually refill your magic, as you're going to see right now. So now all we gotta do is take it to Sahasrara. Now we have 2 more pendants to go find. I mean, this dungeon got, that's the one interesting thing about this game. Unlike, like, the dungeons, in some of the later Zelda games where it takes so freaking long, this dungeon is very, very short. It only took me about, as you can see, like 15 minutes. And that was when I was talking over and doing all this commentary. So now we're going to go back to Sir Hospital to do that, and then talk to him. What? You got it? Now I will tell you the rest of the story. Or more of the story. 3 or 4 generations ago, an order of knights protected the royalty of the Hylia. These Knights of Hyrule were also guardians of the Pendant of Courage. Unfortunately, most of them were destroyed in the Great War against evil that took place when the 7 Wise Men created their seal. Among the descendants of the Knights of Hylia, a hero must appear. I see, Rink. I believe you. You should get the rest of the pendants, and carry this with you. This is a treasure passed down from the banshees of the Wise Men. I want you to have it. And we get the boots. These are called the Pegasus shoes, although they look like boots in the SNES version, which is really weird. And basically this lets you use A and do a dash attack. It's a helpful item in the... Oh. It's a helpful item in the cave. We'll actually be getting that, and there's a lot more fails related to that. And I went in there randomly, because I did. Anyway, now that we have that, we can actually go. See? Hella freaking fast! And now we can see we can sprint, and we can also mow through enemies, which is really fun. Now that we have the bow, and now that we have the Pegasus boots, what you're going to do now is that we are going to head back to Kakariko Village. Now, the reason why I want to do that is to get a special item, and if you watch the second episode of the LP, you will remember that I made a reference to the library that was in the very south of Kakariko Village. And in the library there, on a bookshelf, was a green book that we weren't able to actually get before, which is why I didn't care to show it. But now that we have the Pegasus boots, now that we can actually dash, we are going to be able to actually get the book now. And it's something that you're going to actually need to begin the next dungeon of the game. You can't actually access it unless you get it. Oh, and this house right here, I don't know if I said it very much. It's actually a money-making game, and maybe later in the LP I'll actually do something about it. So there's a book, dash into it, and fall. And we get the Book of Medora! Now you can use it to read the ancient language of the Hylia. Also, Medora sounds hilariously funny when you say it in weird accents and voices. Medora! Yep. So there's that. And with that, actually, we don't need to really be in Kakariko that much. So now what we're going to want to do is we're going to get another item before we even head to the desert, which is where we're going to go to. And I think I just said the same thing twice. Wow, way to go, mate. Anyway, what you want to do is head back to your house. Because on that screen, if you go down, which you'll see in a second, as I'm running away. If you go down a screen from this screen, you will head into a brand new area. And if you hug the right wall, as you see me do, you'll be able to find a bombable wall. So pull out a bomb and bomb it. Wait for it to explode, and once it explodes, not get hit, enter it, and you'll find a fairy fountain. Now, unfortunately, I found out, and you'll find out later because I go to another fairy fountain to test this, you actually can't heal magic and restore magic from this fairy fountain. I think they didn't start to do that until Ocarina of Time, but I know you can't do it in this one. Anyway, you want to go down the screen and right one screen, and then you'll find up in the top of the screen another bombable wall. So go ahead and bomb it, and once it explodes, go ahead and enter. Now in this room you are dealt with 4 Moldorms, and what you want to do here is you want to defeat all of them. Now how you get across is something you have to figure out. Now, it's really not really easy to find, but what you actually really need to do is walk close to the wall and to the bottom of that area, and you'll be able to walk through no problem. Of course, when I said that, I ended up dying. So, yay! Death count now at 4. And I decided to start Link's house. So now, when we return, I get better at it, and I ended up beating all of them. So, you can actually get it. It'd be easier also if you want to do it to actually start with a spin attack, go in, and just swing it, because it actually ends up killing them in one hit, which is nice. And then you got all of these chests, and then there's one guy here, so we open a chest, you get more money! And more bombs! And then more money! And then some arrows! And then talk to this guy. Said, take some rupees, but don't tell anyone I gave them to you. Keep it between us. And he gives you 300 rupees. Which gives us a grand total of about 893, I think. Yeah. I can't really seek them. The preview screen on my Roxio is so small. But yeah, 893 rupees. That's a lot. It's even more than anything we've had. That was a really stupid comment. Anyway, this is actually good because you're gonna need a lot of rupees later on, and the maximum minimum amount you can actually have right now is actually 999, which is pretty cool. And I am so low on hearts at this point, it gets really pathetic. And here's the really entertaining part. I end up failing, not once, not twice, but 3 times in this video. Right in this exact section. That goes to 5. Oh, actually, I think only twice. Because then, yay! I die again! So much fun. I really wish I had fairies. And then take number 3, right here. Now, if you go into this cave, you'll see a bombable wall. So go ahead and bomb it. Make sure you don't get hit. And enter it to find 2 fairies. So at this point, you want to take out your bug net and either take them and put them in a bottle, or touch them so you get healed. And then don't go to the room on the left, because you're not actually going to be able to get to it. So what you're going to want to do is, you'll see that there's a bombable wall on the other side. So just hit that bombable wall, and go in. You can dash right in, and then open the chest to get the ice rods! This is a really, really awesome power-up item. It's very powerful, except it deals a hell of a lot of magic. So keep that in mind. So anyway, with that done, I just wanted to go back in here to just get to full heart. And now that we're done, we technically speaking could actually go to the desert right now. However, I'm going to go ahead and get 1 tiny heart piece before we actually get to the desert, and then we'll get 1 more heart piece in the desert before we move on to the dungeon, which I'll actually say for the next episode. And I fall. Yay! So now you're going to want to go all the way back until you go back to this main area where you found the fairy fountain. Because over here in this section, you'll find this little waterway kind of thing. And you're going to have to go in here twice to pull this one off. First time, if you move this box, and then that box, and move back box right, you can open up and get some bombs! Now if you exit and re-enter, puzzle will reset. So then once you do that, then you can move the box a different way, and then you'll be able to get behind it into this door. And here, if you pull the right... Also, I'm gonna get this very well mat. There we go. And then, if you pull the lever on the right side, you will open up the full dam, and you will drain the water. And the good point of this is because, if you go outside, you will notice that the lake has completely drained, and also, we find a heart piece! So now we have 1/4 of a heart. Now, if you take this fish somewhere, and you actually drop it into a particular portion of an ocean or a body of water nearby, it'll actually give you some money. Unfortunately, I don't throw them in the right spot, so I'm not able to get the money in this one, which I think is kind of lame. But I know if you're in a particular area and you throw it, you actually can get, I think, 20 rupees out of the deal. I think so, but I'm not very sure, so... So now that we've done that, now we can actually proceed to the desert. Go ahead and get rid of all these rocks and just ignore everything. And up here is a cave that you can actually go into, and you'll find a fairy fountain. Now this fairy fountain, I actually tried to experiment and see whether or not I could get the magic bar redone, but apparently it doesn't do that, so I kind of just pointlessly refilled my hearts when I already had my hearts filled. So, that was a fail. But anyway, now we can actually legitimately enter the desert. And you get seen by a vulture. I hate the vultures in this game, they're really annoying. So anyway, if you go up and hug the right wall, you will get to, eventually, I'm gonna kill this thing. There we go, you'll find a cave. And so, when you go into it, just go ahead and go all the way up and into the next part of the cave. And then you'll find this guy right here, who says, "Ah, it's the Book of Medora. With it, you can read the language of the Hylia people." I noticed that. But then you notice there's a bombable wall on the bottom of the screen. So bomb it with your bombs, because what else would you use to bomb a bombable wall? Just saying. And you'll find this chest, which gives you a second piece of heart. So now we need 2 more pieces of heart and we can get our 7th heart container, which is cool beans. And with that, we can actually head to the next dungeon, which is actually like hella close. So from here, you're gonna want to go to the left and not get attacked by mudmen. And you go to this little platform and you'll see some scriptures. And oh my god, it's an Hylian writing. That's alright. So we have the Book of Medora, so let's use it. And it says here... Anyway. It says here to open way to go forward, make your wish here. Find it. Oh, wait. And there's praying, blah blah blah. So keep us in mind. And then when you do that... Whoa, these rocks spin and all that. That's cool. And the door opens to the next dungeon. So that's what we're going to do next time. So hopefully next time when we do live commentary, we'll go into the East Temple. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, favorite, subscribe, share with your friends, and all that stuff. Also, if you're interested in putting some LP requests in, or just because you want to be awesome, you can also go ahead and like my fan page on Facebook, with the link in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I'll do a live recording soon, later, and... on that note, stay frosty, you guys. Leon Wolftail,